Alright, here we go with today's video. When I was thinking about what to do today, I was trying to think of like last few videos about choices and how we can always change our lives. So I was thinking to talk a little bit about how it all works. The main thing is neuroplasticity, because neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. So the ability to do new things creates new neural connections in our brain. So over time, like we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, it creates like a pattern. It creates connections. It creates the like patterns of memory, learning, like all the things that we've done up to this point. So if we do want to make a change, we have to start making different choices, which again in the beginning is definitely not easy because we've been doing things our whole lives, or at least I have. So when you want to start doing something new, there's definitely going to be a change period there. And again, it's uncomfortable, but that's why we don't do it, because we want to be comfortable. It seems like in everything in life is trying to make everything easier for us. It's like always, let's push the easy button and figure it all out. And I'm like, why not? Let's push the hard button. Then you get some growth, and then you do something different, and then you do something you would have never thought was even possible. Like years ago, I never thought this was possible. I was always definitely afraid to get on here and talk. And now here I am, little by little, moment by moment, getting better and better and better. But it would have never, but in the beginning, it would have not started unless I got on here, even though I did not feel comfortable. And there are sometimes I still feel uncomfortable, but I do it anyway. And that's the problem. And that's the thing, is that sometimes when something new is happening, we don't want to do it. But the only way to create new patterns and to create more neuroplasticity is to try to do something new. So, all right. So when I was like kind of researching around and thinking of topics, like personal growth is one of the things that I was thinking about, because we all have the ability to create new habits, learn new things. It's just that sometimes after high school and all that, we get a little, at least I did, a little, complacent with what we're doing. We get used to doing the same things over and over and over again. And then we think we can't do something new because the brain does its thing, the ego, which has all those thoughts of I can't do this. Oh no, no, we won't work out. Let's just be safe. Let's play it safe. We don't want to take risks. We got to survive. This, survival brain that we have. It's like it still thinks that we got a saber-toothed tiger outside or something, and well, at least I don't. I hope there's not one out there, but I doubt there is. But it always keeps us in that fight or flight reaction instead of just being in the moment. And that's why I always try to talk about meditation, because I feel like meditation helps control that. It helps relax the body, relax the stress hormone release, relax your thoughts. Like yesterday, I was going to get on here and do stuff, and then stuff went wrong, and I missed my morning meditation. But it was a good reminder to how important it is for me that I'm so used to doing it, that my day just started off in a weird way, and it went in a different direction and I didn't see it. So then when I finally did meditate, everything started to get a little bit better. It calms everything down. It like there's times in my life where I'm like stressed out, upset about stuff, thinking bad, negative thoughts, all that stuff. And then I'm like, all right, I got to sit down and meditate. And then after I do that 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes, whatever it is I choose to do in that moment, when I'm done, it's like a lot of the stuff that I was worried about or mad about or whatever just kind of floats away. And then everything just seems to be more calmer. And it helps you focus more. It helps you make better decisions. It helps you be like, it just makes things a little bit different in the moment. So, uh, there's people outside driving all-terrain vehicles. I hope it doesn't come into the sound, but so again, it helps relax yourself into this moment. It helps you stay in the present moment, because sometimes the future gets us so like worried, or we worry too much about the past, like the things we've done before, that we can't do something different because of something that happened years ago. And again, just because you failed at something years ago does not mean you'll fail again. You can always learn new skills. You can always learn new things. Why not? I look at it as why not? Why not use this body, this mind, this capabilities to the highest level that I can reach? Why not challenge yourself to do these things, to start these practices? And no, like Dean always says, no one's coming to save us. We got to save ourselves. Most people only care about themselves, most. And you got to be like, do the things that you need to do to get whatever it is you want to get done, regardless of what's going on in the outside world. And we can always train ourselves to be better. We can always train ourselves to change and learn. And yes, it's going to be strange in the beginning. It might be uncomfortable. It may feel weird. You may feel like you're not getting anywhere. That's okay. That's all part of the process of change. But that's the way you start the neural connections. You start doing something that me, it was like, okay, maybe I can get on here and do something. Okay, well then all of a sudden one day I was just like, all right, I got to do it. And finally in that day, everything changed. I finally made that decision to turn the camera on and start doing videos. And I was really uncomfortable. It was tough. And there's a couple that I have that one day I'll probably show that I haven't put on YouTube because it was terrible. But I started filming videos just to kind of start things going. Like anything, start somewhere. I mean, God, when I went on my first retreat, it was crazy. And when I finally got there, I wanted to turn around and go home. I think I've talked about this before, but I'm glad I didn't because it totally changed my life. Learning to meditate, it challenged me to meditate 21 straight days, and I've done it every day since. And we can all create those patterns when we finally say, let's go, let's do it. You got to get to that point where you know what you don't accept what's going on, what's the past, what's going on. We need to do something different. If you want to get somewhere else, you have to do something different. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. I mean, no judgment here. I'm just saying if you want to go somewhere different, you got to do different things because the sum total of our choices got us to where we are. And now I'm trying to get to a different spot to create more impact, to create more like content for everybody, to get on here every day, to bounce back faster, to like get out of a rut here and there. And but those are all part of the process too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's two steps forward, one step back sometimes. And that's just part of the process, and we don't have to get so like upset with ourselves about it because sometimes it's just what needs to be done. And then so let's see, has it got anything else here? Yeah, and just by learning from your mistakes, creating new habit, and learning new skills all creates different things. And there's always someone out there that's doing what you want to do, and they'll help you. There's plenty of videos online to help you find out and do whatever it is you want to do. And then meditation too. Meditation has been shown to do the same thing. It creates better patterns. It changes your neural networks. And the more you do it, the more you create it, uh, the better your brain gets. And it has, what are they called? Like your telomeres shorten as you grow older. Your telomeres get smaller and smaller. Well, meditation slows that growth down, and it also slows down it either creates more, I think it creates more gray matter, or also lessens the destruction of it. I know it at least creates it. And it does, and it helps rewire the brain. It helps you change. I mean, like I said before, I was definitely afraid of doing stuff like this. I didn't even take public speaking until probably about, God, 2 years after I started meditating. And finally I was like, all right, I got to do this. And then while I was doing it, I just challenged myself. I had so much knowledge. I was like, all right, just put idea, like kind of like I'm doing now. I would challenge myself to write down my last speech. I wrote down like 5 ideas, and I said I challenged myself to stand up here, look at these 5 things, and I showed the paper. I was like, this is all I wrote, and I'm just going to go with whatever comes to mind in that moment. And that's kind of why Toastmasters is good to get you comfortable with public speaking. But I also Toastmasters is like structured, and structure is good to get you where you want to go. But sometimes you got to improvise to get to the next level, or it's good to have a good strong foundation for sure with meditate. Like even with meditation, I did the same meditation for 15 years probably. Maybe somewhere around at least 10, 12, somewhere in there. And I did the same one every day, twice a day, like I was told. And then after that, I started doing different ones. And like, so there's different ones out there. There's ones that just help you with stress relief to help you be calm. There's ones that give you energy. There's ones that you visualization and helps. Like when I used to do a softball, I would see myself making plays and hitting the ball hard somewhere, and it just started helping. And then you see here the meditations I've been doing lately. It seems like every time I do a meditation and see myself sitting down and doing these videos, then when I'm done with it, I'm like rip raring and ready to go. It's just that, like I said, I stopped doing that one for a while, and now that I'm starting to do it again, like as soon as I'm done, it's like I'm ready to go, and it like gets me ready. It's like like I said before, when you start to see yourself doing something, your brain will create it. Your reticular activating system will guide you to where you need to go. Now, again, it might not happen overnight, but it is a start. That's why meditation's so good, is that visualization is like taking it to the next level, seeing yourself being the person you want to be. They're in there. Everybody has abilities that you might have locked away inside you, that all you need is the key. And sometimes I feel like meditation is that key to get past the mind, the intellect, and the ego and get into that soul, like what's inside you. It's in here. It's in here. But you got to be willing to do the things that need to be done to create it's like we have an unlimited potential inside of us, but yet we're not willing to do the things to let it out. Instead, we're doing the things that are easy and distract us and keep our attention on the outside world. And that's always fleeting. And then we wonder why we're not happy sometimes. We wonder why we don't have these powers when really they're all in here buried under a bunch of, trash sometimes, or, negative thoughts or negative experiences, just everything that sometimes. I mean, I don't want to swear, but maybe you got to shovel the shit out, shovel it out and just find that diamond that's on the inside of everybody. It's there. And then the mind does everything it can to stop you doing it. It's probably even saying, yeah, whatever, you know, easy for you to say you're on here. I had a friend who said it's easy for them to say they're a millionaire. And it's like, yeah, but they weren't always a millionaire. At one point, a lot of the millionaires were sitting in this chair first, or sitting in their basement, or sitting on their couch, or doing something. Jamie Kern Lima was a Denny's waitress for years. She started her own business, It Cosmetics, in her living room, and then sold it for what, $2 billion to some L'Oreal maybe, something like that. But again, it's stories like that that showed that she never gave up. And that's the thing, is that you only fail when you give up. So you got to keep taking little action at a time and meditate one day at a time. Just, like I said, even if you start with 5 minutes a day, it's better than nothing. And then that'll even start to change a little bit. And then the more you do it, the more it just changes you. And then the third thing too is uncomfortable action. Same thing, taking uncomfortable action, getting on here, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Everything we ever want is on the other side of what we fear most. I don't know how many times and how many people I've heard say that. And it is, though, because again, it's that thing, it's that fear that we're going to be judged, we're not going to be loved, that people are going to not like us. I've been through all this too, so we're all humans. It's part of being human, it's just part of the process. But we think it's like, oh my God, I'm different than everybody. I don't know. Maybe I can't do this. They're going to judge me. Maybe, what if I mess up? Oh my God, you can't fail. We live in a country where failure is like frowned upon. Now, again, it's not the goal. But again, failure is part of the process. Sometimes you have to fall so you can learn to pick yourself up. Right, Batman? It's from the movie Batman Begins. But anyway, we got to learn these things, fall down to get up. You only if you stay down to the 10 count, get up. Try something different. Try anything. Whatever you start doing the things that you want to do. We all have the ability. Let go of the fear. I know I'm trying to. I'm not perfect either. That's why I'm on here trying to inspire other people to, create the life of their dreams. But there's certain things you have to do if you want to go somewhere else and you're not where you want to be. You have to do something different. And again, like Dean always says, like some really great people are just willing to do a little bit more than most people. And it's a little bit more each day adds up. Taking that uncomfortable action, getting on here doing videos, trying a new class, trying to go somewhere you've never been before. Anything. There's all kinds of stuff. Challenge yourself to do something that you're reluctant to do. Go out there and again, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, perfect at the start. But again, if you don't start somewhere and you don't do something, then you're never going to get somewhere else. And if your goal is to stay where you're at, that's fine too. Well, then, you do that too. Nothing wrong with that. And no judgment here, man. Some people are happy with where they're at, and that's fine. No judgment here. I'm just trying to show people that aren't happy with where they're at ways to maybe get somewhere different and, learn how to do something, something different. So basically, personal growth, meditation, uncomfortable action are definitely some things that will start to get you somewhere else. They'll start to change your mind, start to change your beliefs. Now, I'm not saying that again that it's going to come overnight and that it's guaranteed, but I know there's a better chance of it putting you somewhere different if you start, learning from your mistakes, not worrying about it if you make mistakes, start to meditate, slow the mind down, slow the process down, slow yourself down. It helps a lot with everything. And then doing the things that make you uncomfortable, just saying, hey, I'm going to get in here and see what happens. And if I'm not perfect at it, well, oh well, learn from it. If we learn to fail faster, we'll learn to succeed faster, because the only way to succeed is to fail. And like I said before, the goal isn't to fail, but once you do, say, hey, how can I do this different? Hey, how can I get on here and do more videos and inspire people to push themselves to do more? Get conviction in your soul, get passion in yourself. Just drive it and feel it and do it, and then see what happens. And if you don't like the results, try something different, and then try something different if that doesn't work, and keep going and keep going and keep going, and never give up. And if you're on the ground sometimes like I do, like I get, and you're laying there, that's okay too. Take a rest. Just make sure you get up before 10. So again, like and subscribe. That's my message for the day. I'm just trying to get these videos out there. I'm trying to get excited and get people motivated to do something more. Want to take control of your lives, take control of yourselves. We all have the ability to do it. We just have to let go of the mind that tells us, the ego that tells us that we can't, because we can. And just remember, everybody has these thoughts in their heads. It's part of being human. It's part of the brain we have. And the thing is you got to start or stop listening to them and start doing what you can, and just start with something small and keep going and see what happens. So that's my message for the day. Have a good day.